Good morning, everyone. Before we start, I want to make sure that we have the requisite number of people in this meeting. And I'm being assured by Vicki we do. Jeff, we have the
51 signatures.
Okay, so we have more than 50 people in here. I wish it was more, but it isn't. So I'm going to make an opening statement. It's going to take about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to turn the meeting over to Jeff, and we'll proceed with getting nominations. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. It was 3 years ago, almost to the day, I sat in this very room and watched my predecessor, President DeBunda, and Mr. Matty, our executive director, who had replaced our longtime executive director, Mike Bellezzi, who has since passed on, may he rest in peace, he was a good man, conduct this nomination meeting. It was here that I first announced my candidacy to run for PTHA president. I did so because of disturbing rumblings of many of you on the backside complaining of corruption, and believe that my corporate experience working on Wall Street for a prestigious investment firm, being a leading owner and breeder of racehorses, more than qualified me to be PTHA president. I was taught a long time ago from a learned scholar that it's okay to confront your past, to make certain that you place safeguards in place to ensure that it could never happen again. No sooner that I announced my candidacy than President DeBunda violated the no campaigning clause in our bylaws, which has since been changed under my administration, by releasing a campaign video referring to me as, if you all remember, Bob Nutt. I liked it. Sal DeBunda had been unbeatable for 2 decades. All had tried, all had failed. As the bylaws were stacked, that nobody ever had a chance. Today is a special day. It's going to be the first time for all of you, the PTHA, to have an election where you can openly campaign, say what you want, put up flyers, do billboards, speak to everyone at one time. And I hope those of you that decide to run for president or for the board, either as trainers or owner directors, do exactly that. You have the right to have your voices heard. When I ran for office in 2022, my hands were tied behind my back. And then we had that fateful Meet the Candidates meeting, which we'll have again, over on the front side. It was my only time to reach out to the vast majority, and on that day, I accused President DeBunda of corruption, and especially a violation of our live racing agreement. In that live racing agreement, all of you, our fine horsemen, are guaranteed 31% of all pari-mutuel revenues, either live or by simulcasting. Without most of your knowledge, President DeBunda had entered into an agreement where $4.2 million was being taken off the top from the revenues, effectively reducing your 31% to 15.5%, where it remains today. Over these past 10 years, approximately $50 million that belonged to you, the horsemen, has been siphoned off and given to our landlord, Parks Casino. To me, no matter how you slice it, it's a monetary assessment. A monetary assessment is not permitted under Act 71 or our live racing agreement. Right now, that matter is being reviewed by the attorneys that this board agreed upon, and we still don't have an answer, but we do have a video of President DeBunda saying he made a mistake 3 times, and the attorney for the board saying, Bob, we know it was a monetary assessment, and we have that if anybody needs to see it. At the meeting, Mr. DeBunda, in his summation, pointed to me and said, my opponent has no proof, I tell you. No proof. We have that moment on video, too, if you need to see it. That was then. This is now, 3 years later, and I'm looking at every one of you and telling you I have the proof.
You're not running against him, so we need proof.
Excuse me, Phil. Thank you. One of our PTHA respected constituents got up to the microphone and asked President DeBunda, and I'm paraphrasing, in accordance with the PTHA bylaws, which do not permit the president to be paid either directly or indirectly, have you ever been paid? President DeBunda didn't hesitate as he replied, no, however, occasionally as an attorney. I'm here to tell you that President DeBunda was lying that day when he said he never got paid. You see, he was paid as president, $350,000. Not only that, but his law firm, Archer Greiner, which was another conflict of interest, was paid $550,000 in the 3-year period before I took office. The 10 or so years prior to 2020, I have no idea what was paid or taken or missing. I have no idea, but we are having a full forensic examination that hasn't started, that this board agreed upon, to find out once and for all. And yes, we have the checks of those amounts I just mentioned to give to the forensic experts when the investigation starts. In my opinion, that's my opinion, President DeBunda is also guilty of ghost consulting. That means no actual work was performed by people that were paid. In the United States, that's a felony, punishable by a fine and possible jail time. I uncovered that without the board's approval. So the board is not, and I want to repeat this, the board did not authorize this. From 2015 right through December 2022, 1 month before I took office, President DeBunda ordered secret payments using your money paid to a convicted felon totaling $215,000, violating numerous bylaws. We have those checks too. Furthermore, President DeBunda, who was appointed by the governor of Pennsylvania as a racing commissioner, was also paid that aforementioned $350,000 or $72,000 a year. Those payments were disguised as consultant fees paid to his Dunroman Farms. Unless one of President DeBunda's horses can talk, it appears that this may be ghost consulting too, but that's for our forensic experts to tell us. As part of our settlement, we embarked on a much-needed, long-awaited forensic investigation. It will be up to these experts to tell us, A, if ghost consulting did occur, and B, whether we can recover these funds without any cost to you, the PTHA. That's my expertise from my insurance days when I was the head of professional claims for a major insurance company. It won't cost you a dime. If this isn't already seedy enough what you're listening to. President DeBunder, to the best of my knowledge, without board approval, so I don't want you to think anybody on this board is responsible. They aren't. Had $50 to $70 million annually for nearly 20 years, directed from the Racehorse Development Trust Fund that funds your purses, deposited into a bank which he was personally associated with. That bank paid you $20,000 annually in interest. Although the bylaws demand that both the president and executive director sign all checks, I uncovered 20 months into my administration that I, your duly elected president, was not a signatory on this bank account. Earlier this year, thanks to this board, we switched to another bank that now is paying us $200,000 a year in interest instead of the $20,000 you were getting for 20 years under President DeBunder. That's 10 times what you were entitled to. As many know, when I finally realized that too many things had been swept under the carpet, it was necessary as president, at my own expense, to bring a petition to remove the legacy board members. I did not sue for a single penny for myself, just to protect you, the 2,500 PTHA members. On the eve of trial, I'm happy to report that we amicably reached a settlement that was very, very beneficial to you, our wonderful horsemen, as all my other demands were met with the exception of removal of the board. And that's all we had sued for, was removal of the board, but we got 10 other things that we discussed in the previous meeting, which are now being carried out and made part of the bylaws. That leads us right up to this moment today. I am honored and very proud of the 2,500 PTHA constituents that I have served. My late father, a proud veteran, as I am, instilled in me that when you see injustice, to fight as hard as you can to make certain it will never happen again. His sage advice has served me well through my life. You elected me as your president to serve and protect you and your fiduciary interests, which I have faithfully done to the best of my ability. Make no mistake that these past 3 years have not been a bed of roses. It's been rough. After consulting with my beautiful Lena, knowing the day in and day out hardship I have put her through, I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel, as a full forensic investigation will soon be underway as part of our settlement. PTHA bylaws call for all checks to be approved by the president and then signed by both the president and the executive director, no one else. The bylaws have been violated over and over, and yes, we have the proof, dating long before I was here, Jeff was here. Therefore, I've made the decision at the end of this calendar year, December 31st, and I think my term is up January 5th, in order to promote harmony among all our horsemen, I will step down as your president. I do this so as not to become a distraction to anyone. Instead, I will seek one of the owner-director board seats, that is, if you will have me, to assist your new president and possibly lend my 40 years of expertise in recovering as much money as I can for you at no cost, no fees to this association. I'm announcing today that I will run for the executive director's vacant seat as was agreed upon in our settlement, and that no executive director can ever serve on our board again. It is and always has been a clear conflict of interest. Friends, I'm a realist. I'm going to be 80 years old next month. Hey, that makes me older than God. Just for the record, at age 70, 75, and again this past summer as I approach 80, I stepped onto a basketball court at Saratoga and took just one jump shot from the top of the key. Swish as it went in each time, nothing but net. I'm wondering if I'll still be able to lift a basketball at age 85. Maybe I should just quit while I'm still ahead. Seriously, the truth is, first and foremost, I owe it to Lena, who I have put through hell. And secondly, I don't want to grow old in this job and fail you. You need a younger person, someone that could lead you in the right direction through the next decade. That person must possess the same passion and drive as I have. You require a president who can effectively lead you. That person must be able to select the executive director and board of his choice. A true business leader who recognizes the multitude of problems that we face at parks and in industry in general. This PTHA must not only survive, you need to thrive. That person needs the support of a fully committed board and executive director of like-minded business people to accomplish and complete their agenda. And where do we find such a person with all these capabilities? There's no finer person I can think of than your current PTHA owner-director, John Julia, my friend. I hereby nominate and fully support my good friend, a forward thinker, a true business leader, who's as passionate about all 2,500 PTHA strong constituents. John Julia, for your next PTHA president. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Multiple seconds. If I was ever in a foxhole when this proud veteran served this country, it would be John that I would want to have my back. John, please come up here and accept this much-deserved nomination. Ladies and gentlemen, John Julia for president. Thank you.